Hello. Thank you for joining me. This is Real Boys Talk, conversation about careers. My name is Amber Moore. I am your host. Hopefully, we will have a good time. We're going to be kind of relaxed. And the biggest thing, as I've always mentioned on my podcast, is what? Take it offline. Take the conversation that I'm having with you right now, basically, and take it offline. Take what I talk about, whether you agree with me or disagree, take it offline. Talk to your friends about it. Talk to your girlfriend about it. Talk to their girlfriends about it. Have these conversations. Some of this conversation is, yes, it's geared towards my masculine identified African American, um, aka studs, I guess you could say, but it's also geared to anyone who feels like this resonates with them. All right. We are focused on our masculine identified gay females. Majority of the time, it is our brown and black. All right. But we want this to go out to anyone who needs to hear what we're saying tonight. Okay. Today, we're going to talk about careers. We're going to talk about looking for that job, going for that interview, getting in that job, moving up in that job. And then we might touch a little bit on entrepreneurship or serial entrepreneurship, which is a new kind of terminology that many people don't know about. Okay, so let's start out. I was reading a magazine, Miss Magazine, actually, only for the article that was in there, which was about Black lesbians. And it was about the statement was Black lesbians are more visible than ever before. We're in more commercials, we're in more television programs. There's more focus with us in them as main key players than it is with anybody else. Okay. And so this is something that is bringing light to the Black lesbian. Most of the time, I will say this, as much as I'm excited about that, majority of the time it is a femme or a STEM or a slightly in between tomboyish looking female that they'll put in there. Just putting it out there, not really seeing that. You have a few times when you see that really hardcore stud. I think it's amazing. I think it's wonderful. The more the merrier. We need more representation in movies, films. Of course, we're rocking in the music industry. We're rocking in videos, that kind of thing. I think that is great and amazing. But what about those of us who cannot be in that, in the spotlight like that? Well, we got to find our own spotlight. Okay. For example, if you're going to college, what are you going to college for? Make sure that you're majoring in some stuff that you really like. Biggest thing that I'm finding out is that people are majoring in things that have money, but that doesn't mean they like it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It can be a bad thing because if I don't like what I do, I'm not probably going to do it as well. I'm just putting it out there. If I like what I do, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably not going to put my effort into it. I'm not going to stay past 5 o'clock. I'm not going to take that extra step. I'm not going to put a little oomph on it. I'm going to do what you asked me to do, make this paper, take my ass home. Eh, is that good or bad? It depends. Sometimes I look at it like you want to look at what you want to make. Let's dive into it. So looking for a job. I have found, and this is my personal experience, please understand, I have found that I get better reception when I already have a job looking for a new job than when if I don't have a job, I got to find a job. And some of you might disagree, might say, well, it doesn't really matter. We find a job no matter what. I've been able to do that as well. I will find a job that I know I don't have a problem with. I like the industry. For example, needed a job. I went to Kinko's. I worked for Kinko's for probably about maybe six and a half, maybe 7 years, right? Doing third shift. And that was production. I did third shift production. It was amazing. I had a great time doing it. I liked it because one, I was normal. Most of the time I was by myself or with one other person. Two, once we got, once you get all I was doing was doing the jobs, printing, binding, putting them together, packing them up, putting them ready for them to be picked up in the next day. Those things, I mean, that's you pretty much by yourself, but it's not a career unless you're looking to move up and be a manager, district manager, things of that nature. But that is all retail. If you are into retail, I think that is amazing because to me, I have been in retail. I do not like retail. I do not like it because 9 times out of 10, the people that are above me have no idea what I do every day. They have no idea what you go through and they've never done it. They're district managers that go, hey, I got this job because I have a degree and that's what I applied for. And now that's another subject. Let's hit that real quick. Like I said, if you know this show, you know I'm gonna be all over the place, but eventually it'll all come together and be really interesting, and you guys will get something out of it. And we'll tidbit on little things. We're still looking for that job. All right. So when you're looking for your job, how many of you all go to recruiters? Go seek out a recruiter in your industry, like tech, like financial. Not so much creatives. I have found, because I'm in the creative industry part of this, because by trade I am a graphic designer, web designer, print designer. So those are things that I really have not found success personally in having a recruiter. And that's somebody who goes out. They have these companies that they already are affiliated with. They go and they say, "Hey, I've got this job right here. Would you like? You're qualified for it. Would you? I would like to apply. I would like to take your application and your resume and apply and go talk to them and say, this is who I think is the best candidate." I have gone to tons and tons of job interviews based off of thinking that the recruiter had me locked in. And then 9 times out of 10, your recruiter does not, because there's 15 other recruiters that are doing the same thing. So I haven't really had, me personally, I haven't had luck with recruiters, but if you've had luck with recruiters, please give us your experience. You can always, of course, I tell everybody, you can always email your comments or your story to realboystalk@gmail.com. And boy is BOIS, not with a Y. Okay. Now, so like I said, I have never had a very good experience with recruiters, but now I have friends that are in the IT industry and are in financial, and they have had major great success. As a matter of fact, they've been able to move across country. They've been able to get jobs in other cities, and the recruiter has been the greatest thing for them, was them having a recruiter. So I think it depends on what your industry is. But if you get a recruiter, then you need to know exactly what you are looking for. What type of job? What's the job title? How much does it pay? How much are you asking? And see, that's new for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't used to people asking you, what are you worth? What do you want to get paid? I now am I'm in that position. But then I'm an older person. So am I a good candidate for a job or a bad candidate? That's another element that we think about as we're looking for a job. Because a lot of times, me getting with a new company doesn't look good to them because I'm an older person. They're like, I wonder why she wants to be with us. And then it is, she's older, she's going to retire, so she's not going to take this job serious, she's not going to stay long with us. Or they look at it like, I'm an older person, I'm going to require more in terms of pay because I have more experience and I know the industry, so they know I know my worth. I'm going to want to put a dollar bill, ching ching, on what I do. All right. So that's the thing. The biggest thing is know what you're looking for. I personally, at this time in my life, I love nonprofit. I do. I love it. And let me go ahead and let you know, if you're thinking about being a nonprofit, ain't no money in nonprofit. No money. Now, I didn't say you couldn't live. I didn't say you weren't going to be able to travel and do things you want to do. But if you're trying to be wealthy, nonprofit probably is not your thing. Or let me rephrase it. It depends on what nonprofit you're in. And what I mean by that is if you get in a foundation, there's probably money there. You probably can make 100 to 150 to 225,000 a year because it's a established foundation. I would never take that away from that. Foundations they have lots of money because they have trusts, they have major donors. It is amazing. I would love to work for, hint, hint, I'd love to work for a foundation. Please call me. My resume is ready to go. I am in link or LinkedIn, excuse me. Okay, I'm sorry. But for real, I love what I do. So I'm very happy where I am. But what I am saying is that nonprofit is very different from corporate. And I separate it like that because your image has to be very different. Now, I will tell you what I know. My parents always told me, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you as a Black female must come 20 times harder in your appearance, in your knowledge of the company, and in that interview of what you do, know what you can do, know how you do it, know everything about what you've done so that when you get in that interview, you can rock it. So we're going to move on to the face of, if you get a recruiter, there are online companies or online services right now. They're not really services. They're really, what do you call it? Websites that like career.com, things of that nature, Craigslist. I don't know. You can get a job on Craigslist. I actually did get a job on Craigslist. That was a very good job. So you can find some stuff, but what I mean by if you go to the Indeed, those kind of websites are really kind of good. There are some nonprofit websites that put up jobs as well. Job search websites are really good. I have found, if I haven't found, I will say it like this. In the nonprofit sector that I do things in, I have the people that I was going to for a job. I've actually been able to utilize them in that sector because I met them on Indeed and I was applying for a job. I got interviewed by them. It didn't work. They chose somebody else. We shook hands. We made friends. And then it's like, hey, you told me about the nonprofit. I would like to be more involved. And then we go to a whole nother level. But I've been able to really have some really good interviews. And I use Indeed not to advertise, but to let you know I have used Indeed and have had really good luck with in job placement at times in the past. So it is an opportunity. And I would say that another thing, and you can take this however you want to, but it's who you know. Ask your friends. If you're not a friend that is not entry level, because it will not help you. But if you got a friend that's a supervisor or that's in the company, been there for a minute, even if it's a year, if you tell them, look, I'm kind of looking to kind of move and groove, do a little something different, and I just want, I want to change my job. Your friends are who can get you in. Please understand. I thank my friend Tiana Clay. I thank her. She know because she, when she had an opportunity, I stepped in, I took it, and I've been with it ever since. Now, I am different from most people because you have to know that when you're looking at your career, my career is in nonprofit. That is where I am. So I do nonprofit things. That is my career. I am also a serial entrepreneur. So I have businesses, outlets that I use as well for passive income, building what I want to say is a legacy and generational wealth. That is where I am. I have one child, and I want to make sure that at any time, he has property that he owns. He has a legacy that he can fall back on. There's businesses, there's foundations, there's nonprofits that he can oversee, still making money. My mother and I both are like that. Okay. So now we look at it. Let's just say we've gone in, we've applied for the job. Let's talk about that applying part. Those applications, first of all, are tedious. I hate them, but you got to do them. All right. And we always got to be honest who you are, where you come from, where you've been, all that stuff. Your resume, you upload it. Most of the time it'll pull what needs to be pulled. But here's the catch that I was told many, 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 many moons ago, that when you go for a job, make sure that some of the verbiage from that job description is in your resume. Because a lot of times these, what do they call them? Oh my gosh, I cannot think of the name of them. It's not really search engines, but the little, I'm going to say, the things that go through and look at your resume, the computerized stuff that goes through it goes and scans. It's looking for certain words. It's looking for words that match in the description of that job to say this person is somewhat qualified. The more words you have about that job that you're applying for, the better opportunities the better opportunity that you're going to get to be in front of somebody to have an interview. If it's not even, if you don't never get the phone interview. Okay. Looking on paper, you want to look amazing on paper. Okay. So you want to make sure that what they say they're doing, you've done some of that for sure, because then you can talk about it. And then on top of that, put that in your resume, put some of that verbiage in your resume so that it does reflect that. Now, the one thing I will say, education is very key and important. Having a degree, it works. But if you do not have a degree, make sure you designate or very much let them know what work experience you have. Because a lot of times these guys are looking for the person who has a degree as much as they are the person who knows how to work in this particular spot or has that experience in this industry. All right. So as we do that, and then here's the thing, this has been a debate for many, many years. And I don't know how I feel. I'm not really sure where I lie in this. Okay. Because my full name is Amber Allen Moore. Okay. And it's Allyn. Yes, that is correct spelling for girls who's going to have the name Allen. All right. Guys, it's Allan. And last name is Allen. Now, my son has the Allen for a reason. A whole nother story. But what we'll do is we're going to say my full name is Amber Allen Moore. When I go to an interview, as I've told you from ImageWide, when we talked about image, I bring professional. I am going to be in a suit. I will, most of the time now, I will have a tie on, fresh haircut. You know, if I'm gonna wear glasses, they're clean, clean. If I'm not, I've got contacts in. We have make sure our breath is fresh. You know, make sure we don't overpower with the cologne. We got a nice smell, very crisp, clean. I will use a very clean smell that I know is more popular in a non-African environment because I know that's what they will recognize. Okay, so like I might wear what is it, a Gucci, or I might wear. I have a Versace cologne. I might wear that. So if you are into those colognes, you're gonna know the smells. And I wear a very slight amount of it, so that just a hint because you're in a closed environment doing an interview. I don't need to be loud, right? We make sure that we follow all patterns of our dress code. I might not have as much jewelry on as I would per se have if I wasn't going to an interview. All right. Will not have a baseball cap on, but I will have a fresh haircut. That I think is very important. All right. Going into that interview, I'm also looking at the fact that when they call my name, I know for a fact that and I've seen it happen, I'll be in a lobby, they'll call out Amber Moore. They are looking at the 4'11" cheerleader looking white girl with blonde hair, blue eyes. They're looking dead at her. And she is not paying them any attention. And then my ass gets up where I am 5'1". I am a chunky monkey. You know, I'm kind of chunky. And on top of that, I'm dressed in a men's tailored suit and I'm African American. So I already killed you like all over the place. And the look on their face just says it all. It's amazing. But what it is I used Amber Moore. People do not distinguish the name. And that was a big thing when I was growing up, when I was coming out of high school, going into college. It was about how your name is perceived when on a college application and on a job application. People would say stuff like, if your name is, we're going to say, Keisha Smith. A lot of times that will go, it rings in their ears. Oh, that must be a black one. Smith, Keisha must be black. Not the case anymore, ladies and gentlemen, not the case. But let's go further. Let's say your name is, I don't know, Quinacia. And I'm only saying that because your dad's name is Nathan, your mama's name is Gwen. They came up with Quinacia. I don't know. I'm just putting it together. And your last name is Robinson, Quinacia Robinson. A lot of people will say, use your initials, use Q, and let's just say her middle name is J. So you QJ Robinson on your resume because that gets you in the door. A lot of times, and we have to be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves. Okay. Let's be very, very honest. Okay. People who are doing jobs, who are hiring for jobs, they are hiring their comfort zone. If you do not fit in their comfort zone, you are not going to get the job. And let me tell you a couple of things. That's why I say you have to know. It's really good that you know somebody. You know more than the person you interviewing with. Promise you probably won't get that job. And I've had this happen. And I can say this from experience. Okay. Now, I ain't saying 100% of the time. I'm just saying possibility you won't get a job because you know more than they know. Went for a job interview, was perfect for the job. Perfect. Okay, I knew I had this job. I went in there with so much confidence. I knew answers. I knew about the company. I knew what they had done. I knew the future forecast. I could tell them what they CEO had said last week on such and such a television station, whatever. The whole night, I knew it. I was blowing that interview was, woo, I was smashing it. You hear me? But the gentleman realized I knew more about the company than he did. They had just made an announcement like 2 weeks before my interview. I knew about it. I read read the press release. I was like up on it. And he asked, do you have any questions? My question to him was, so now that you're moving into this particular arena, how will you be able to do this, this, and this? What is the forecast? He didn't know how to answer that because guess what? I knew something he didn't know about his own company. Okay. Plus, I'm just going to be real. I was dressed 20 times better than he was. And that is what you're going to find out. As African Americans, we are always going to bring the smoke. We're always going to bring the smoke. And that's a good thing because we have to. Whether they're walking around business casual, you got to walk around business because that's just what it takes to get in the door, to get in the chair. A lot of people be like, if you have colored hair, hide that stuff for the interview. Get regular color, hair. Don't do the blues and the reds and the yellows. Just basic because you're trying to get in the door. Give them what they want. Then once you get in and you're acclimated, then you do what you want to do. Because now you in the door, you doing your job, you rocking, you doing what they ask you to do, you producing, you making them money, they making money. Boom. They don't care that your hair is half your head is shaved and you got green braids. Don't care. Okay. Now, mind you, you still got to be mindful of what you have to do, because if you're a manager, a lot of times being trendy will not work. I'm just telling you to think about it. Trendy is just that. It's trendy. It trends today. Don't mean it's going to trend tomorrow. Doesn't mean it's trending next month. And if you are doing trendy things, you must be in an atmosphere where you can be trendy. I'm going to tell you, corporate, deep corporate America is still on rules. Okay. Tattoos on the face might not work at Coca-Cola. It might not work there unless you're in the what? Packing, unpacking, bottling part of their company. But if you're trying to be above a supervisor in that area, you want to be a manager, you want to be a district manager, you want to move up to being a VP, that level, we have to be mindful of the sacrifices we're willing to give because it's something that we want. Okay. Plus, like I said, when you're going for the word career, we ain't going for a job. We're going for a career. Career means I'm trying to invest in your company because you're going to invest in me, and I'm going to give you the best of who I am, and we're going to grow and make this money. I'm talking about people who stay in a job for 40, 50 years and retire. That is their career, okay? They're a career military. By all means, that is career-oriented. Being in the military and moving up each rank, deciding if you want to go to officer school or what you're going to do next or where you're going to go, how you're going to position in your job that you are now trained for, what is the next steps? Boom. Now, stepping back, we get in that interview. You blow that interview. You bring in all the smoke, all the smoke. They can't deny you are the best candidate. And you will find that even if you are older, younger, if you are Black, you must be the best candidate. You have to come in with that attitude. You have to come in with that excitement. You give them your personality. Do not turn your light down. If you are wild and crazy, be wild and crazy, because that's the job that you're trying to get. You want to make sure they know you are serious about that job. Okay. I tell people, because I was a hiring manager for a company for a while, and I would tell people all the time, calling me does not bug me. Calling me brings your application to the top of the list for me, because then I'm gonna go look. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's Susie. Let me look and see. Susie just called me. Let me see what Susie got going on. I'm gonna stop what I'm doing. I'm gonna go look and see what Susie's resume said, because she keep calling me. Why she keep calling me? And I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna look at her resume and I'm gonna go, oh, okay. Hey, call her in. I do want to sit. Let me sit and talk with her for a minute. And that's what you want. You want, and I hate the questions they ask you. Well, tell us about yourself. I can start back to way back in the day, or, you got to figure out what is it that's going to be the most important thing that you need to tell them about you when you go into when you try to get this interview, trying to get this job. Let's just move along. You got the job. Okay. Now we in the job. We've been in the job for a year. We didn't get promoted, but we got raises. Okay, we get evaluated and we're doing our job. They're like, hey, you're doing amazing things. We love what you're doing. We love it. Here's 25 more cents. Here's another $1. Here we're gonna go. We're gonna blah, blah, blah. Then the job, what you have to do day one of getting in that job is you have to put your plan together. My son says all the time, oh, I don't need a plan. Yes, you need a plan. Day one, your job is to master what you have been hired to do and be so hungry that you got to plan the next step. What is my ultimate goal? If you got with Coca-Cola today, what would be your ultimate goal in that corporate job? Like, where would you start at? Look at the job that you wanted. Boom, you got it. But what happens from there? Are you going to be complacent and content being just in that spot? That's fine. There are people that is them. And if that is you, then rock what you do every single day. You give them 150% in that job, because that's the job you've always wanted and you do it. My cousin loves her job. Okay. And she does an amazing in Comcast, Xfinity, excuse me, with her job. Amazing. Okay, but she gets promoted. She's moved. She got promoted. She made money. She got raised, but she's in that environment that she loves and does very, very well at. Okay. They come to her for advice. They come to her to train. They come to her to say, hey, we're going to take this to the next level. What you think? This is what they do because she's built the rapport of knowing everything there is to know about that job. Everything. Okay. She can do it with her eyes closed. She know that job. She's done it literally. She's done her people's job. So she knows the frustrations of what they're going through when calls don't do this and call don't do that. She knows, right? That's what you have to do. When you get in that job, day one is to learn. Start learning every single thing you can. Suck it up like a sponge. Okay. Put your map together. Where do I want to be in 5 years with this company? In 2 years, I need to have this kind of 401k. 3 years, I need to be doing this. 5 years, I want to be moving to this spot. And then once you make that plan, you start first of all, you need to know every executive person in the company. You know why? Because you need to be their friend. Find out what nonprofits do they support. Go support them. You know that there's an event happening. I'm gonna give you one right here. If you know that that the CEO and the vice president golf at the country at East Lake Country Club here in Atlanta. If you know this, guess where you need, and they do it on Tuesdays at 4. What should you do? Show up and say, hey, how you doing? I work for y'all. I'm in such department. Just I say hello. I'm about to go, I'm about to tee off. Don't want to come join me? Know the game. I'm gonna let you know. My granny, I know I'm getting off subject. My granny was so adamant about my son learning golf, and he liked it at first. It was cute when he was like 4. He liked it because it was fun. Oh, I get to hit a ball, and woo, look. But then by the time he got 8, my son had pretty much had it. He was like, I don't want to do this no more. I know how to play golf. My granny was very adamant. She said, I want you not just know how to play golf. I want you to be able to strategize in playing golf. Because when you go out there in a business world, that is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing strategy as you're playing. As every time you swing, you're strategizing with the person that works with you. Businesses are run on the golf course, tennis court, country clubs. Okay, they are running those environments. Now, some of them are even running the old school concept of, hey, cigar and bourbon or brandy. You need to know your shit. Know what they're into. If you are looking to move up like that in a company and do some things, and you say, okay, I came in on this level. I love this level. This is what I do, but I want her job. Point it out. Say, oh, I want her job. She's been in a job for 7 years. I think it's time for her to move up. And because I'm all about this. Let me tell you, I'm all about this. I will make my boss look fucking amazing so she can get promoted, because that opens the door for what? Me to be promoted too. So always think of it like that. You want your boss to look good because you want your boss to move to the next level so you can move to her level, then keep moving up. But always look at where you want to go in a company. Know what they do. If I'm trying to be in the executive lunch, I'm trying to be in the executive bathroom, I'm trying to be on the executive floor, I need to know who the executives are. I need to know what they do. Who are they? What do they need? What kind of nonprofits do they support? Oh, okay. I heard you doing the hot chocolate run next week. Okay. Guess what? I'm doing it too. Just want to make sure. Hey, when you're gonna be there, I'm volunteering. Blah blah blah. Get to know. Stop by. Send an email. Any of those things, because they will remember that you do something that they like doing as well. Okay. Just think about those things. Holiday parties, don't miss the holiday parties. You want to be at those things. You want to be at anything nonprofit oriented or off or outside of the job when it comes to your job. Now, that doesn't mean that, like, when they go, hey, we're all going to go have a drink and it's Friday. That is not really what I'm saying. Okay. And it could be once in a while. Do it once in a while. See if you hear any gossip, learn something. It's like being around, what did you say? Gossip around the water cooler. It could be at the bar. They all go to the same bar. They all jibber jabber about their bosses. You might want to listen. Listen, take heed to it. Listen to what they're saying about their boss. That gives you some insight of what kind of boss you don't want to be, what kind of boss you do want to be, and what kind of boss they are, that you need to be able to know the ins and outs. You want every opportunity because you're looking to move up in this company, right? Now, that's what we're going to talk about when it came to careers, right? That gives you some insight. Some of this stuff I'm sure you already know. I'm sure people have told you, you've seen it, or you've learned it. But if you didn't know, here's some things that I would tell you to do. I would tell you to get to know the people in your company in terms of what they do. If you are in Atlanta, or actually I think it's in any city, you want to get to be a member. If you're a female, you want to become a member of 100 Black women. That's if you're a Black person. 100 Black women, 100 Black men. Those are organizations of professionals. I believe there is here, it's Leadership Atlanta. My mom and dad are members of both 100 Black men, 100 Black women. My mom and dad are both members of Leadership Atlanta. Business people are all in that. That is amazing. They have a young group called Lead Atlanta. And this, I'm giving Atlanta stuff, but I'm sure you can find it in your city as well if you're listening and you're not in Atlanta. Definitely, those are things you want to be a part of. Those are business people right there. When I tell you it's who you know, it's not a joke, especially here in Atlanta. It is who you know. And if you're trying to be in the government, that's a fickle environment. Let me go ahead and tell you that now. Politics in Atlanta, we had talked about that. That's a whole nother soapbox. I can't get on. I cannot get on right now, because then I'm gonna take me off into some stuff I am watching today amongst our government, as you all know. We don't want to even bring that into play. But here's the thing. Really be honest with yourself. If there is a job that you want, it is not out of your reach. It's not. Never ever is a job out of someone's reach. It might not be your time. You might need to find out what you're missing. Like if you got the interview and then they called you back and said, we're gonna go with Martha. Ask, may I ask what I need to improve on so that I will be prepared if this job comes open again, or if another job comes open with another company. I want to know. They'll tell you. I've done it. When I didn't hire, as being a manager, those of you know, I used to be a manager of a GNC store in South DeKalb. Loved my job. I loved it. When I had to hire people, it was one of those times when I actually had to tell a young man, I can't hire you. And it wasn't because he couldn't. One of the things, he was very slow in understanding what products did. I needed you to be able to understand and be able to articulate what I just said back to me so that you can tell it to a customer. He wasn't quite ready for that. That selling and knowing the product sale and that customer was a lot for him to go through. What did I tell him? I said, look, let me tell you something. I want you to find a retail that you like, because you don't know anything. You don't work out. You don't know anything about GNC. Go find something that you really do like. What is it that you really like? He was like, oh, I'm into games. I said, there's GameStop right there. I said, come here. I took my application that he had done on mine, for us. And I went over because I knew the manager, and I introduced him to the manager, and I said, he is looking for a job. Can I give you this is his resume and the application that he gave for us. Will that suffice for you to be able to possibly give him an interview? She looked at it. She said, yeah, I'd be more than happy to look it over and see what I can do. Now, did he get a job? I don't know. But that's how you work things, because I saw something in him that didn't work for us. So I tried to help him find what will work for him, because he needed a job. But don't take a job just because you need a job. Take a job because you know this is going to build you to the next phase. Because if you take a job, that's like, I'm going to work for McDonald's. I hate it, but I'm going to do it anyway because I just need a job. That right there can be dangerous. It's dangerous on your mental health. You're not going to do You're not going to do your best. You're going to give them mediocre work. Yeah, I know you're getting mediocre pay, but I'm just saying, you do something that you like. Okay, be aggressive. I will tell y'all, when it came to getting hired at Kinko's, this is how it went down. I needed a job. I saw they had an opening. I got on the phone. I said, "Man, speak to the manager." He said, "This is him." I cannot remember that man's name. He's a very nice man. I said, "My name is, Amber Moore. I just completed the application for your store to be, this." I forgot what it was. Counter person. And I said, "And I need a job, and you need somebody to fill it. I can be in front of you in 10 minutes. Will you interview me?" And he was like, yeah. He said, because I'm trying to close this job up. No problem. I'll be there in 10 minutes. I was there in 10 minutes, dressed professionally. I walked in. I had my resume printed out. I handed it to him. He said, no, you need to hand it to me. You already sent it to me, blah, 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 blah. He looked at everything. He asked me questions. He says, well, when can you work? I said, what time do I need to be here tomorrow? He was like, no, not tomorrow, but give me about 3 days and put you on the schedule. I was on the schedule and actually he had me being a greeter at first. I stayed a greeter for 2 days and then moved up to the counter. I stayed as a counter person for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And because I am a graphic designer, I understood paper, I understood printing. I understood time frame. I understood, all the stuff that you needed to. Normally, they would have to train me to do. I didn't have to be trained because I already knew it. So those are things that is always my backup plan. Let you know, I will go to a print house in a heartbeat. Why? Because I know how that works. So you got to do the same thing. Look at what your print house is. What is your go-to job? And if you are, and I will say this, don't stay long unless it's something that you can grow in. And sometimes that happens. But if it's like, I'm gonna give you an example. If it's you being a bartender or a waitress, if your goal is not to be the owner or the night manager or the day manager or the manager general, you're going to be stuck in just being a bartender. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some professional bartenders out there that are damn amazing and they get paid big money to be in your club to be a bartender. So don't sleep on some of these things. Let me just put it out there. Don't sleep on it but you have to have a plan to understand why you shouldn't sleep on it. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to go and be a bartender for down the street at the local, place, but for a fact it's just you and the owner. That's it. Because that's where you're gonna be, right there, just being a bartender for that. And that can be that's a nice side hustle. Okay, let's talk about that. When you career-wise, I'm entry level in my career, but it's not enough money. Get you a side hustle. There's nothing wrong with that. There are some side hustles, and I'm researching a few myself. There are some side hustles right now. The most lucrative and quick one is Lyft and Uber or DoorDash or just DoorDash. Those are very quick, simple hustles that you can get into. All you need is a car, some insurance, driver's license valid, and go. That's it. Make sure your car stay nice. Don't be nasty to the people. They'll tip you. Be sweet. Be nice. Get them where they want to go. Safe and sound. Get tipped. You make money. That's a nice side hustle. Okay. Another side hustle, they've got some stuff in here where they say there's some people that are doing travel agency. They work out trips. They do day trips, weekend trips, girl trips, all kinds of stuff like that. They get paid. That is something that they know they know how that money works. Okay, because they learn it. But you got to be prepared. If you're going to do a side hustle that is not something where you jump in your car and you driving people around, you have to learn that job too. Okay. Okay. Think about that. So if you're going to be in a job, you're not going to build yourself and make that your career. And then you're trying to build that as well as do a side hustle. It can be a little stressful. Okay. I'm just going to put it out. It can be a little stressful. Being an entrepreneur is amazing. I'm just going to say, I love it. I love being an entrepreneur, but I also understand the downfall of being an entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur in today's society. You are hustling your ass off, which also means that 9 out of 10, you have a day job. That day job pays for all of your stuff, your lights, your gas, your phone, your actual home, your car insurance. It handles that so that you can put your mind, you can work that because you know your job. You go to work, you do your job. Then you got at night, you're doing your side hustle. There are people who have lots of little small businesses that are growing into big businesses, that are growing into businesses where they can't work at the job they was working at. Somebody got to quit. And a lot of times it's really good if you have a partner. And I say that in the fact that if it's you and your partner and you go to your partner, you say, babe, I think I want to do a t-shirt business. And I've done it before. I've done this, and I see some things. I did some research. It's going to cost me this much to put in. If I do this, this, and this, it will make this kind of money. If I do this, this, and this, we make this kind of money. But I can't keep my job. And I know, as we all know, financially, you got to have, if it's two of y'all, everybody got to have a paycheck coming in the house, right? To live the way you want to live. And that's comfortable. Everybody's looking to live comfortably. Okay. And sometimes we have to say, okay, your girl, or the guy, if you are into dudes. But for this sake, we talk to more studs. So we're going to say studs who are with ladies. One of you all will give up a job. You'll say, babe, you can quit your job. I got this. Because if you can handle it, then that one person handles all the big bills and all that, and let them build that business, especially if you see the potential. And there's a lot of it's about how hungry that person is. If I have a partner and she hungry, I am definitely going to be right there with her. Okay. I'm going to support her. I'm going to introduce to everybody I know. I'm going to make sure product gets out there. I do that for y'all. Y'all let me know, y'all small business. I'm gonna talk about you. I'm gonna put you out there. I'm gonna use your product right now. For those of you, I know it's a podcast, but I am wearing my 105.7 long sleeve shirt. Because guess what? I advertise where I am. I advertise who supports me. I advertise who helps me make it to the next phase. I will do that for you. There you go. So when it comes to being a serial entrepreneur is what I am. I own a design business. I run two nonprofits. Okay. I am, I'm on the board of Atlanta Black Pride, so I'm involved in what happens with that. I put together, along with a wonderful group of people, the LGBT Greek Weekend. That's for our Greeks. So they have their own weekend, sororities and fraternities. If you do not know about them, we'll talk about them at some point. As you all know, I also host Shooting the Shit, which is Real Boys Talk, but it's with the bros of Sigma Omega Phi Fraternity Incorporated, which are my bros, because I am their founder and national president at this particular moment. We are working on our 15 years, baby. This 2023 is 15 years. I'm gonna talk more about that on one of my nights. Probably in next week. Actually, as a matter of fact, 'cause our birthday's coming around, coming around. I am excited about that, but nevertheless, I want to support all of you guys. So career, and why I talk about entrepreneurship, because it's important. I believe, and this is just me putting my belief out there, I believe that we as Black people need to have Black presence in our Black neighborhoods. I want to see a Black gas station. I want to see a Black meat market. I want to see a Black mom and pops beauty supply store. I want to see those things. I live in what I did live when I first moved into my grandmother's home. I was living in a predominantly Black older neighborhood. It is not that anymore. It is quite gentrified at this point. Am I okay with that? No and yes. Property value, absolutely. Property taxes, no sirree. I'm not happy. Education wise, there's an elementary school literally diagonal from my house. Am I excited that the neighborhood is gentrified? I am, but I'm mad because it shouldn't need to be gentrified for the school to not be a tier one. Okay. So there are things, there are pluses and minuses about that. And I say all of that because we want to make sure that we're looking at everything when it comes to career. Career will also dictate where you live. Let's just put that out there. Career will dictate who people are around you, like who you go to lunch with, who you might have dinner with, who you hang out with. Do you hang out with the same people you used to hang out with? Okay, but all of that entails is all one. I say again, all that when I came into this environment, I am very big on supporting Black owned. So if you are a Black owned business, doesn't matter if you're in the LGBT community or not, but if you're hearing my voice, please take a moment, send me an email, and let me know what your business is. If you have a t-shirt business with a really cool t-shirt, I'm more than welcome. I will buy it. That's how I am. I'm going to be showing you all or telling you all about some other t-shirt people that I buy shirts from that got amazing shirts that are uplifting, motivating, and empowering. All right. All our community. All right. So definitely, if that is something that you do, if you're an artist, let me know that as well, because 105.7 wants to put you out there. They're all about the independent and the DJs. So please let us know what you can do. Go to their website, which is www.1057thephase.com. I am Amber Moore. This is Real Boys Talk. You can hit up realboystalk.org. Come see me. I'm on Facebook with Stud Health. It's Facebook/Stud Health. That's Real Boys Talk. Let me know. Let me know what you all need to hear. Let me know who you have out there that you feel like I need to be interviewing, because come February, I'm going to be looking for people. March, I'm going to be looking for us, because we make history too. And Women's Month is March and Black History Month is in February. What history have you made? Talk to me. Let me know. I'm going to introduce you to some people that you had no idea made history. But I feel like they've made history, and I'm going to profile them. So next month, I'll be doing possibly a lot more. I am working on an intro, guys. I'm about to jazz this up. Yes, we're going to put a little bit in at a time on our web, on this podcast. A lot of stuff that you want to know about, please hit me up. I will be posting. I post on Facebook. I post on my website. I post on 105.7, the Phases website. Yes, so we're all over the place. If you have a product you want to advertise, please hit me up, Real Boys Talk at Gmail, or you can hit up 105.7 the phase dot diversityinclusion@gmail.com. Almost forgot the email address. All I know that's long, but all of that is available for you guys to hit up. If you have a podcast, if you are a DJ, if you are an artist, hey, 105.7 is your home. You need to find us. Come on, come on. All right, guys, I am going to get out of here. Everything that I've talked about, please take a moment, whether you agree or don't or disagree, take it offline, further the conversation. Give me some more hints so the next podcast I can even come back and say, hey, I heard about this. If you are looking to employ someone, let me know that you got jobs available. I'll let the world know. Somebody out there is going to be the right person for your job. You all have an amazing night and an awesome and blessed weekend. We will talk again next Friday. Thank you for coming to hear Real Boys Talk. Again, this was about careers, part of our health series. We will continue possibly talking about careers going forward, but I believe you all know February we will be talking about relationships. Relationships. I'll be talking about sex, fucking, and relationships. That's everything. All right. You all have a great night, great weekend. Thank you for tuning in.